Hey, this is Chris Jericho, and you're listening to the Shout It Out Loudcast. They're going to give you a reason to live, make you feel like you're the king of the mountain, and when it's all said and done, they're going to dance all over your face. Oh, yeah! We got some good-looking girls! Oh, yeah!
Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? It's Tom and Zeus with another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast. Episode 80, Ambassador Scott Brown. Woo!
This is a very sophisticated program we have this evening here. If you told us that we would be having a political dignitary on our show, woo, man, we've hit the big time, baby.
That's a very, very sophisticated type of case you have there.
Former Massachusetts senator.
That's right. That's right. Hometown boy.
Yep. We can't wait to play the episode for you. But before we do that, I got to figure out how my buddy over here is doing. How the hell are you, Tom?
Great. Finally got the windows open here, some cool air. But I checked the weather. It's supposed to be literally almost 100 this weekend. So back to sweaty, you know what, come the weekend. But
yeah,
trudging through the summer. What about you?
Yeah.
What about you, Booger?
What about you, Booger? I've been out combing the high schools all day.
I've been combing the high schools all day. So I'm fine, doing my thing, moving along. Unfortunately, keeping quite busy. The bankruptcy practice is quite full. The phone calls are coming in, unfortunately. Wow. So times of trouble, unfortunately, are good times for me.
I was just gonna say it. You make your bones off people's misery.
No, I also do real estate. So I'm buying your house, or you're gonna lose your house.
Yeah, I'm your man.
So yeah, that's what I got going on.
Yep.
But more importantly, we had one heck of a week last week. It got to the point where I told you.
Yep.
I reached out to our podcast hosting company, Megaphone, and asked them if there was something wrong, because the amount of listens and downloads was almost 3 times higher than any previous episode we've ever had.
Yep.
The weekly one was through the roof. The daily one was through the roof, all breaking records. And then the 30-day thing was through the roof, breaking records. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's new listeners just downloading all of our stuff and catching up with the previous 79 episodes, or if it's just simply people really loved the topic we did last week. And we, as you know, obviously, if you listen to us, you probably know, we did the Mike Douglas show. And, we took an 8-minute segment and made an hour-and-a-half episode out of it. Typically what we do. And it got such great feedback. There's nothing better than that, Tom. Just that feedback that we get, the interaction. And this is why we started our podcast originally. 2 college friends that always talked Kiss would text each other and send stupid shit about Kiss constantly. And then we're like, why don't we bring this formula out? Because we just felt that, with our sense of humor, and there's got to be other immature Kiss fans out there.
Well, we've proved that there are. And like you said, we can't thank everybody enough. I mean, it's just great to see the show grow, the audience grow, the interaction grow, the fan base, the people getting in on our jokes and humor and becoming a part of the show. And that's what this is. Like Zeus said, when this idea started a year and a half ago, it was just like, we're kind of doing this like anyways. So let's just friggin' hit record and put a show out and see what happens. And, thank you guys so much for just jumping on board and having fun with us.
Yeah. And you know how you say that? I have to mention him. And you know what? Every time we mention him, he gets his own theme music. Jack Panacio sent us a message. I'm going to jump on what you said. He posted this on our group page, the Shout It Out Loudcasters page. I now have a habit of saying, right, and okay. Whenever my partner is trying to have a serious conversation with me. That is how me, and put that back to him. I said, you realize me and Tom have been talking like this since 1991, right? Okay.
It is impossible for either one of us to say right or okay. You can't, because as soon as you can't, or yes, we can't even say yes.
Yeah.
Like you can't even say,
yeah.
Like, we can't even do it anymore. And now I'm so happy that we're infiltrating people's daily dialogue with our terminologies.
Everything got so warped. The funny thing is, Tom's wife Bridget, who I knew her just as much as Tom did because we were both freshmen. We met.
Yep.
A friend of ours at Stonehill gets so annoyed at times when we're all together because we'll all be having a conversation and then she'll say something in the middle of the conversation. Me and you will just turn to each other and start doing stupid lines from movies or the Jerky Boys or something, and it gets so annoyed.
And then she pretty much just walks out of the room.
And but this is how it is.
Yep.
And I'm glad this is rubbing off on you people. This is how we are, and we want you guys to have this type of fun talking about, the best band there is, Kiss.
That's right. Yep, absolutely.
So, let's talk about last week's episode. We also did some polls first. What were the polls? Do you remember?
So we record on Wednesdays now. So we always drop, a Thursday poll and then the episode poll. So it kind of gets, a little jumbled up there. So last Thursday's poll, we always try to do like a fun Thursday poll, and we were kind of throwing this one around. And I was like, oh fuck, this was best Eric Singer song, All for the Glory.
That was my idea.
All for the Glory won 58-42, but the best part of it was just feedback from people like, oh, it's both shit sandwiches here. Like, do we have to pick either one of these? And I'm like, no, I know that they're, I know not everybody loves them, but they don't deserve that kind of beating. I mean, but that was the poll.
Yeah, I found it very interesting. And the interesting part was that someone made the point that they respected the Eric songs.
Yep. Because
they weren't cat-centric.
Correct.
Versus Tommy's, which are spaceman-centric.
Which is funny because I legitimately like both of Tommy's songs. Even though they are spaceman-ish.
It's very trolling of the Tommy haters that he did those kind of songs.
Oh, absolutely.
All the people that are fake Freely, fake Ace, and Cheater Chris, and all those people are flipping out that Tommy did those type of songs. I'll tell you what, those songs are great. I like those songs,
both of them. And I know we like to have fun with the Eric Singer songs. I'm not a huge fan of both of them, but I listen to them when I'm listening to the albums. But the Tommy songs I do enjoy.
They're good songs. I think the Eric Singer songs are decent songs, not very Kiss-like, but they're decent songs. His vocals are great. Does a good job. They're just not as rocking. All for the Glory is a little bit more, in my opinion. But, the fans, we got a lot of where the fuck is option C? Neither of them.
I know. but I hate that. It's like you listen to us, you're Kiss fans, just vote.
Yeah, which one do you hate the least?
Well, which is pretty much what every election and vote comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. So what did we have for Tuesday?
Yeah, and then our episode poll was we compared. Well, we asked people which Kiss appearance did you enjoy more, the appearance on the Mike Douglas show or the appearance on the Paul Lynde special show, and 58% of the voters picked Paul Lynde.
Wow!
So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, they are that performance is a little bit more bombastic. It's got the Destroyer outfits. They play more than one song. So I'm not gonna really argue with anybody for picking that over the Mike Douglas appearance, but we both picked Mike Douglas just because it was live, plugged in. It was live and all real, like Stewart says.
Screw Stewart. Anyway, we both agreed that we thought, we love them both. They're both iconic.
Oh yeah.
I obviously don't remember the Mike Douglas because I was 1 year old when it came out.
Right.
But the Halloween one, I kind of vaguely when I was a little kid. And more importantly, though, the Paul Lynde special was the performances. They looked great.
Yep.
but they weren't live. Now seeing it, and the jokes, like we talked about, are kind of stale now, kind of dated.
Oh God, yeah, you think?
And then just the cheesiness, like we talked about. Mrs. Brady shaking her ass and stuff, and
ooh, yeah.
And it's just the jokes are just falling out. And then, of course, with what's the name singing your favorite song,
Kids. And then you go, and then you flip it over to the Mike Douglas show. We have Lego minifigure Mike Douglas
with his Lego hairdo. I thought that was just, the interview was iconic. Gene making his first kind of TV appearance where they're talking. Yep. I just like, what's going to say? What is he and stuff? And that Tootie from the Facts of Life, giving him shit back. I thought that was just iconic.
It was great.
Performance. Firehouse was unreal.
Agreed.
Unreal.
Yep.
So we got some feedback on that episode.
Yeah. So Facebook, we got feedback from our friend Scott Donaldson, who is the drummer for the awesome Kiss cover band Kissteria.
That's right.
And he's a big fan of the show, and we thank Scott for that. He says, man, you guys crack me up. Another ripper episode. The only Kiss podcast I eagerly await to be released each week. Stay safe, guys. Scott, that's awesome. Thank you. And hopefully you guys are able to start doing some shows sooner than later with Kissteria. I know you guys are probably missing that and missing the crowd, and everybody else is too. We got another comment from Michael Norby. He says, the only excuse on Gene's odd behavior is nervous. He doesn't come out as cool or scary, and the Jewish hook comment didn't help a bit. It's refreshing, though, to see an early Gene persona compared to the later Gene. Well, yeah, I mean, he was young and nervous and didn't know what to expect, but I thought he did. I thought he made the best of what he could have done. I mean,
exactly.
He was a kid at that time, Then we got a comment from Robert Shaw. Wow, I thought he was dead. Quint from fucking Jaws is commenting on our Facebook post.
He was bitten in half by a shark in Cape Cod.
He says, I can only imagine what was going through the minds of middle-aged housewives in 1974. Yeah, exactly. We kind of talked about that.
Oh, they were probably like, who is that evil guy? I want to meet that guy. And Gene was like, okay, start clicking the bell. He's going to be,
I've got
him up.
I've got a stiff proposition. Then our buddy Kevin Jepson, he goes, excuse me, I just had a tamale pasta bowl. What the fuck? You guys had me laughing so hard with the bathroom stuff. Another fun one. And then our buddy Tony Smith. So when we did our episode post, I said, check this episode out. It gets a little nuts. Tony Smith goes, a little nuts? All your episodes have more nuts than a testicle museum. And then we got one from Greg Gould who says, Gene was a bit odd that night. Well, what are you going to do?
Exactly. And we talked about this. No other member from Kiss should have done that interview. He's the only one.
I agree.
He pulled it off as good as he did. So good for Gene.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we got some Twitter stuff.
Yep.
Our buddy jumping on friggin' Kevin Jepson's comment. Our buddy Deuce put a picture of a Swanson's dinner Salisbury steak, a photo of it. And, for those who don't recall, didn't hear the episode, I was saying that these winners from the kissing contest, the one that looks like Jim Henson, a disheveled Jim Henson, the serial killer guy, the one that looks like a serial killer.
Yeah.
I said, if they had a kiss for 4 days straight, how the fuck did they go to the bathroom? That they would have to watch what they ate. Nobody wants to drop like some disgusting dump, like eating you said a
Salisbury steak TV dinner.
Dude, that must have hit a nerve because we got so many comments on that.
Yep.
I was saying there's like a pasta bolognese, plate from an Italian restaurant with some tiramisu. like that's just not an attractive thing.
No.
Someone put I forget who it was. Was it David Zanuck? Put a photo of those facing toilets.
That was me because our buddy Heavy Mayo said something about like facing, and I remember that skit from Saturday Night Live with the two toilet seats next to each other so the couples can talk while they're taking a dump.
I don't know how those people were kissing for all that long while going to the bathroom.
I know.
Anyway. Deuce also put his comments about that performance in 10 words. Talking about Firehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Raw, kick-ass, hungry, cool, stellar, iconic, timeless, authentic, rockin', and classic with a K.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with all that. David Caffey put a picture of Jim Henson along with Rolf. Rolf, who plays the keyboards on Peter Chris's solo album, the piano. Knives Savage.
Oh, yeah.
Legendary episode. The phrase, the Holy Trilogy, used to refer to A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. But there's a new Holy Trilogy. Pandemic Paul, Stewart, and this is Gene Simmons.
From Kiss.
Laugh my ass off every time. Love it, guys. Keep up the great job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And our buddy JR said an awesome episode. Joel Hoffman, hilarious. Laying in my bed, 4 a.m., listening to you talk about Swanson TV dinners and the kissing contest winners. I was laughing so hard, it hurt my stomach. What a great episode, guys.
That's awesome.
And finally, from Twitter, Josiah Horn. You guys made my Mondays a little more tolerable for a while, so thank you. This was another great and fun episode. By the way, I totally agree. Seeing Peter do his thing was incredibly heartwarming. Yes. And that's when I was talking about Peter singing and how heartwarming it was. Just the smile that he gave after he finished. We have even our dumbass friends, Mr. Sonny Pooney. Oh, that's terrible.
Hey, Sonny Pooney, what a piece of shit that guy is now.
Shut up. Dude, he's not, why didn't he do this? Or why didn't he have this performance? He just did something off the cuff.
Right.
And we loved it. And a lot of Kiss fans loved it. And the smile on his face after Peter saying it, brought so much joy to the Kiss Army.
Agreed.
Oh, I also almost forgot. There was a couple other things here. We got a couple comments from our retweets. Sometimes they don't show up on Twitter, but here we go. Steve wrote this. This is the Steve Warsap one.
Yep.
Never had to use the pause button so much as I did on this episode. No spoilers, but this is bollocking scream from start to finish. From Bret Michaels onward, this is hysterical. Always look forward to every show. Awesome work, guys. Every episode is unmissable, but this is incredible. Had me fucking howling with laughter. Worth listening to, if only for the pandemic rant.
Oh, boy.
You should do an episode about that, because it makes my fucking blood boil. Love the teasers on upcoming stuff.
Oh, nice.
But one last one, and that is from our friend, Mr. Baco, over at the Cobras and Fire podcast. He retweeted us and said, the best thing to come out of Beantown, here's a hint.
Nobody calls it that.
Nobody from Massachusetts or Boston calls this place Beantown.
Nobody.
That's what other people call it. But anyways, since Wahlburgers started selling shitty cheeseburgers in the Mall of America, Tom and Zeus have a great Kiss podcast, Beantown for life. Yeah, no.
Well, I'll take the kind words, and we thank Baco for that. But then he also gave us a little words on Facebook, and because of the little jabbing that we had with him on the episode.
He sent us a DM.
Yeah, he starts off, "Look here, assholes." He goes, "I had Boomerang nowhere near my top 10. That's because remember last week we were kind of shitting on his rankings of songs. And he said, and I only like the cool stuff with Kiss. No, like you two, I enjoy Peter's 78 solo. Music from the Elder is one of the records I go back to frequently. I think Chris Cat 1 is great, as well as Live to Win. And tell me this, does Eddie Trunk have a change.org petition to get Phantom of the Park remade with the current lineup? I think not. All in good fun. Bust my balls all you want. Of course, I will save my official response for a future episode of Cobras and Fire. Thanks for the shout out. Fun episode." No, we love Baco. Cobras and Fires, funny show, great show. Check it out by all means. Good guys on that show.
Yeah, and Tommy's going to be on that show coming up soon when Baco does his grunge rundown from Rolling Stone. You know, that magazine that's shitty and always comes up with shitty lists.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, they did a top 25 list of grunge albums, and Tom is on there to talk about Sweet Oblivion from Screaming Trees.
Correct. Yep. I don't know exactly when that's going to drop. Just subscribe to Cobras and Fire if that's your thing, and you should be subscribed to it anyways. But if you're a grunge fan, you should definitely subscribe to it.
Yeah, and I had been previously on, and I talked about Purple from Stone Temple Pilots.
Correct.
So, yeah. So,
wait, hold on. We got one episode related email from our buddy Steve V that I wanted to read. He said, "Where do I start? From forming visuals of defecating into a bucket during a 4-day long kissing contest to Tom's howls of Paul Lynde's Rhinestone Cowboy Kids, I'm once again dying over here. I agree that the Mike Douglas show is better for nothing else than actually hearing the band live and at such an early stage. I thought Toady Fields was hysterical interacting with Gene. The visuals on the Paul Lynde were amazing, though, and I do dig the band's segment on there as well." That's from my buddy Steve V. Thank you, Steve. Always big fan of Kiss, big fan of the show, big fan of metal and horror movies, too. One of my few fellow horror brethrens on social media, too. So we like Steve. Good guy.
Yeah, we have a couple more. I'm not going to get into it because otherwise this episode is going to go on forever.
Correct.
And we want to get to the good stuff.
Oh, turn the page.
Anyway,
that's a good segue, though.
Yep. So, Tom, we didn't really get into yet any Kiss news. What's going on in Kiss World?
So this week, not real breaking
Not
news.
Next week.
Not this week. Not next week.
This week?
No, next week.
Next week we're booked up.
Not a lot of actual news. We keep saying it every week. Obviously, you guys are aware that the leg of the U.S. leg of the tour is still on. It starts next month, and it has not been officially canceled. So we keep checking in with that. But a couple important dates this past week. We celebrated and observed rest in peace, Eric Carr. It was his 70th birthday. Legend, gone too soon for sure. Everybody loves Eric Carr and his contributions to the band. And what was the anniversary? What?
Whoa, let's talk about that for a second. Though.
Okay, go ahead.
Gene put a nice thought out there for him. Rest in peace. I'm not sure if Ace did.
I know who didn't.
Yeah, we're now up to another one.
This is more egregious than Bob Kulick and J.R. Smalling. I mean, this.
I don't.
Now again, this is just a memorial. You know, J.R. Smalling and Bob Kulick passed away, but this is a remembrance and still silence from Paul.
I just don't get it.
Nope,
I don't get it. I think he come on. It's not difficult. He should have just put out something, to say. And we're not alone. We're being as kind as we can be, because out there in the Kiss world, people are pissed off that he hasn't said anything about Bob's passing, even a simple thank you for your contribution, rest in peace, J.R. Smalling, right? And now it's, Eric's 70th birthday. Come on.
Well, but he does do his condolences for Benny Mardones, Nick Cordero, and I think it was Phil Ashley, maybe. Forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong. He was a keyboardist who contributed to some stuff. But I've said it before. It's almost like he's cutting himself off from anything Kiss.
Yeah, well, you were happy though. He did post something now. It's almost like because you were saying that you wouldn't know by following them on social media that they're in Kiss, because he doesn't talk about Kiss anymore,
except for one tweet.
And he put out one tweet, "Can't wait to get back to this" or something. It was a picture of the concert.
Yep.
On the set.
Yes. Somebody must have hacked his account because that came and went. That was the only Kiss reference I've seen from him in a month.
Yeah, and I just don't get it, Paul. Come on,
I don't either. He
did put out something today. There was some anti-Semitic bullshit going around by some athletes and stuff. And Paul retweeted Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's great thing about something about, like people need to step up and cut the shit with all this anti-Semitic crap going around.
Yeah, it was Deshaun Jackson, the wide receiver, went on some rant.
Yeah, but Ice Cube has been saying some stuff.
Ice Cube's been way out of line.
Maybe that's a little bit,
Yep.
When there was a little bit of tension, NWA and Kiss about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Remember?
True.
Whatever. And then in addition to that, in the meantime, Gene put up some stick figure pictures of him and his family. I think he tweeted something like that. But you said it right. This just seems to be that Gene gets it.
Yeah, he always has.
Knows how to do it. It's a little tongue in cheek. He doesn't go overboard.
Right.
And I just,
he's got a better, he's got, here's the thing. I guess you cut it down. Gene has a sense of humor. Paul is now, he's almost like literally humorless.
It's like he's too sensitive.
He's sensitive. But you can be sensitive and have, interact with a joke here and there. Paul, there's none of that. Gene has a good way about him in terms of dishing it out and taking it and kind of being a little bit, hey, like maybe not an overt joke, but there's some humor in what he's doing in some of his interactions. He's serious when he needs to be, but he gets it a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do. So that was going on.
And then we had the anniversary or the birthday of arguably the greatest Kiss video ever made, and that's Extreme Close-Up. And I'm almost nervous to do an episode on that because I feel like I don't know if we're going to be able to do it justice because I think it's just so – we may have to do our very first live commentary episode for that. Yeah.
Yeah. There would be, without a doubt, no Shout It Out Loudcast.
It's true.
Without Extreme Close-Up. No way.
It's a great point.
That combined, when we met in college – I liked Kiss. You liked Kiss. We were already Kiss Army fanatics. And then that grew. We had that connection. And we shoved Kiss Extreme Close-Up into that fucking that VCR, into that huge TV in the middle of our suite and made all the fucking assholes, our suite mates, watch it with us. You got Murph converted to a Kiss fan because
he did. That. Yep. He absolutely did. Yep.
We learned all the lines.
Oh God.
We know exactly when Gene kind of burps and when he introduces Ace. We thought a bum came in. And then Paul goes, what?
It was Ace. We could seriously recite that entire thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we had another important day on this past week. It was the reissue of Creatures of the Night. With the new cover, which was interesting because it featured Bruce Kulick on the cover, who did not play on the album. But they were doing that we'll get in when we cover Creatures of the Night. We'll get into the whole story of the album cover.
This. I think we talked a little bit about this. So when I got back into Kiss, remember now we're 47 years old. Mm-hmm. So when we get back into Kiss and I get Creatures of the Night because it gets reissued. And I'm like, Ace is on this, but Bruce is on the cover. Exactly. And neither of them played on the fucking cover. The guy that played on it is not featured anywhere.
Yep.
Which leads me to bring up a funny text exchange we had yesterday. Right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
So I'm just driving along, and, amongst the millions of texts we get from our text groups. All of a sudden, we got one from our buddy Jericho, who sends us what I think was a picture of the front cover of the album, where Gene, Eric, and Paul and Bruce are on. And the back cover,
which a lot of people don't know.
Somebody in leather pants' ass.
Exactly.
The guy's ass. So Chris writes, so are we guessing that this is Paul's ass? And then I responded with, can you imagine the group discussion on this? Guys, whose ass should be on the back cover? And he wrote, I doubt there was a discussion.
Exactly. And then I threw in there as a joke at the end. Maybe it's a leftover picture of Vinny.
And let's play that out.
Yeah, I know.
I think seriously we should consider putting my ass on the back of the cover.
Oh God.
Right?
I know.
Do you imagine them? I think honestly what happened on that, Paul just did it. and put it out there and say, like, we're doing this. I don't think Gene would fight him on it. Do you?
No.
Gene is not showing his ass like that. I'm trying to think. Has Gene ever done a pose like that where he shakes his ass?
Never. No.
Never, right? That's not him.
No.
That's definitely Paul. But could you imagine the opposite? Can I put my ass on the cover, guys? No.
No, you can't. No asses.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I just think it was funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so anything else?
No, that's it. Kind of quiet here with the news. So we'll see what happens each week. So
Tom, we let me tell you how. Let's tell the listeners how this interview came about.
Okay.
So, Ambassador Scott Brown, the U.S. ambassador to New Zealand, Samoa, and other territories, smaller territories, he was my former senator from Massachusetts and yours. He is a Republican. And if you guys follow me, you know that personally that I'm a big Democrat, but I liked Scott Brown. He was personable, likable guy. And, Republicans in Massachusetts in this area are moderates. So they're like New England Republicans. We all know what they're like. And they can get elected in Massachusetts. Well, Scott Brown was one of those people. And I've always quite fond of him. Although, as you can tell, he mentions I didn't vote for him the second time when he lost.
Oh, he had some fun with that.
I've always been a fan of his.
Yeah.
So here I am following Scott Brown. I follow his daughter on social media too, as well. The musician Ayla Brown, and people should go listen to her music. I like country music, so I like her music.
American Idol. Yep.
Yeah, on American Idol as well. And I saw him over the past few months put up stuff of the embassy where he's staying, the home of all these hair metal bands. I'm like, what the heck? Tom, check this out. He's got Britney Fox, Faster Pussycat. Holy crap. Look at this stuff.
Alice Cooper, Cheap Trick, not to mention the Kiss stuff. Just loves all the music we love. It's crazy.
And I was just laughing about it. Next thing you know, from the embassy, he has this special, and he's going to interview Gene Simmons
from Kiss.
I watched it. It was so great.
Yep.
Our senator, our ambassador, was like us interviewing. We laugh about it now. It's where he's like, hey, Gene, look at this guitar.
Yep.
You were talking about posters. Hey, Gene, was it this poster?
Yep.
And what did Gene do?
No, it wasn't that.
We laugh about it usually yeah, something like that. No, Gene's like, no.
Gene's like, no.
He has a Kiss room at his house where he's the ambassador. And it's fascinating. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, you know what? I would love to find out more about it and how he has this relationship with Kiss and interview him about it. Couldn't have been nicer. Reached out to him. As kind as can be. Type of person that you want your representatives to be. Listens to the little man. Doesn't take your political stuff. He goes by what's right, not what's left or what's right. He goes by what's the right decision to make. And I can't say that about a lot of politicians, but I can say that about Ambassador Brown. I'm a big fan. And I was trying to convince him to run for office again when he gets back.
Yep.
But we had a ton of fun on this interview. Ton of fun.
Yeah, it was interesting because everybody, I'm sure a lot of people out there, if you haven't, it's still available on Facebook. The hour-long interview we did with Gene, and Zeus then shoots me a text and he's like, "Yeah, you're not going to believe who we got lined up for a guest." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me, dude! This is going to be insane." I'm like, because like Zeus said, we know him. Zeus and I are very into politics, and local politics and national politics as well, and we know Scott Brown for a long time. We know all about him. We knew that he was into music and, into rock and stuff, but I didn't know the extent of it. And after that interview, like Zeus said, it was kind of the impetus to kind of see what we can get going here. And Man, it was just a ton of fun. We only got 30 minutes with him because we interviewed him at 4:00 Eastern time here, which was 8 a.m. the following morning.
Yeah.
So we got him right before his day started. I wish we could have done like a video recording because during the interview, he's all buttoned up with his tie and he's got his dog on his lap and he's sitting in front of his Eric Singer drum set with his Kiss room and everything. It was just wild. It was wild.
So without further ado,
we got a little surprise for you tonight. We're going to turn the microphone over to
the ambassador to New Zealand and Samoa, my former senator, and a Kiss fan, Tom.
Very exciting.
Ambassador Scott Brown. Tom, want to welcome him?
Ambassador, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking some time in your busy schedule. We know where you are. It's about 8 a.m. over there in New Zealand, so thank you so much. We know you're a huge Kiss fan, and thank you for taking some time to talk our favorite band.
Sure. Well, it's actually 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
It's almost like Back to the Future-ish. But yeah, I'm here in Lower Hutt, which is like a suburb of, like if it was Boston, it would be East Boston. So it's a part of Wellington. And I've been here this 3 years, about a month ago. So I'm the longest serving political appointee under the president, aside from Israel, by like a week or two. And, wrapping it up like every ambassador, at the end of the year.
Excellent. Congratulations. Awesome.
Yep. We were very happy to see that when you got appointed. We love seeing our Massachusetts people do well. And you've been a great senator for our state, even though I'm a Democrat, and a great ambassador for this country. So thank you for your service. And I know you've been in the military, in the National Guard, I think for, how many years, sir?
39 years. Yeah, I retired about 6 years ago. And listen, I joined it after the blizzard of 78. I was very appreciative of everything that our men and women soldiers did back then. People, as you remember, were dying on the highways. Their cars were buried. And I said, man, I want to be just like those guys. Well, the next thing you know, I'm like, I do, And, it was a great experience. The last 4, I was able to serve at the Pentagon as the deputy legal counsel to one of the Joint Chiefs. And it was a great experience.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you.
And thank you for your service as well.
Absolutely.
So one of the things I wanted, we're going to get into some questions. One of the things I said I wanted to save for the air is that it's a small world, and here's why. I'm a political junkie. The night that you were elected in 2010, I decided to jump in on a focus group that Frank Luntz was doing in Massachusetts about the Obamacare at the time. And because I was a Democrat, and they announced that you won live on the air, and I was on that panel, I was one of the few that was a Democrat that voted for you that won. So they specifically picked up like 4 of us to talk the most. I did such a good job that that Frank came up to me after the show, and he's like, they really liked you. So I went on Fox the next morning. I was on their morning program, and they had me on to do with Neil Cavuto, all because I had this epiphany to praise and vote for Scott Brown, the Republican, as a big Democrat and someone that voted for Obama. Well,
you're very kind. I appreciate that. It seems like 100 years ago, quite frankly. And while the win was great, the service was wonderful. I'm blessed to be here. It couldn't have worked out better. As you know, New Zealand's about 14,000 kilometers away. Then I have Cook in Niue and Samoa, and our interest in Antarctica. So I have one of the largest geographical districts in the world. And New Zealand's a Five Eyes partner, which is an intelligence security relationship with obviously the U.S., Canada, Great Britain, Australia, and New Zealand. And we work on some very, very serious and important things that people read about sometimes and don't read about other times. So it's an honor to serve, and I'm glad I was able to do it.
And they allow you with having this Kiss room behind you? They didn't take that?
Well, actually, so the way it works, it's interesting. In a traditional embassy, you would see, pictures of, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, that sort of thing. And we have that in one of the rooms. We have like an official seating area. Sure. And I have a picture of Daniel Webster and some scenes from Rockport and other places. But I came up with this. This is the only one that's ever been like this in the world ever. And when people walk in, and Zeus, I know you're probably not a big President Trump supporter, but I know you're going to be shocked by this, but not everybody likes him here. And so when they walk into the room, they see little Gracie here, and they see the rock and roll, and we have very casual, formal dinners, and people are like, wow, well, I'm not necessarily digging the president, but I like this guy, and then we can get past kind of all the BS and actually get work. This is literally one of the most premier. I mean, this is Eric Singer's drum kit right behind me. I'll show you guys later, but on the drums, he writes the words to the songs, which is very, very unusual. And then, obviously I'm friends with the guys. You saw the Gene Simmons interview.
Yep.
We had over 200,000. We had a bunch of different channels going. We have over 200,000 worldwide fans. But, listen, these guys are hardcore. As you know, Gene doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. His mom was in a concentration camp. He's born in Haifa, Israel. Paul is the same way, very straight-laced. Eric the same. Tommy Thayer replaced Ace, and Ace was a little different. A great guy. Saw him with Alice Cooper. So they're just wonderful, wonderful people. And I showcase Kiss in particular to showcase the 50 years of marketability and this incredible musical history of a bunch of Jewish guys from New York.
Yeah.
And it's funny, before we went live, we were talking to the ambassador, and I was just in awe of his collection, because I'm in the process of building my collection in the basement. I sure as hell don't have Eric Singer's drum set sitting behind me or anywhere for that matter. But it is, like you mentioned, the conversation with Gene Simmons, and that kind of is what prompted Zeus and I to, particularly Zeus, to be like, well, wait a minute, local guy, maybe we can make this work. So again, we're thrilled. And we're just going to go over a couple questions. Zeus usually starts out every time we have a guest on. We have a little list of introductory questions that we're going to get into right now.
So me and Tom are college buddies. We went to Stonehill College, and Tommy had a roommate. His name is Murph. Go figure, from Boston, right? Murph. So we came up with these Murph questions because he was our first guest. So who's your favorite Kiss member?
I'd probably say Gene's so iconic, but I love Paul. He's a great guy, aside from being a fantastic singer and artist.
Okay.
Great. Favorite Kiss song today?
Oh my God. Well, I have a band here. I know you're shocked to hear this. We have a band. We're playing in front of 2,000 people next week, but probably the best live song to play is Rock and Roll All Night. Party every night.
Okay, nice.
All right, favorite Kiss album?
Well, God, probably the Kiss Alive 2. I really enjoy that. And probably my original album is up there, I think. It's Hotter Than Hell, Love Gun. I mean, pick them all. I mean, I really enjoy them all. I mean, they're basically 3 and 4 chord songs, then there's not a lot, but it's just the beat and the rhythms and the lyrics. There's so many incredible songs, but listen, iconic song also is Beth, but probably the album is, I'd say Kiss Alive 2, because you kind of got it all in there.
Perfect.
What about studio album, if you had to pick?
Yeah, studio album. I mean, just look, I had more out back, but probably the one I enjoyed the most is probably the Kiss Destroyer.
Okay. Nice.
So, Ambassador, how many concerts would you say you've been to for Kiss?
I've only been to probably 10.
Okay.
But everyone is historic.
Yeah,
absolutely. No doubt.
I'm going to tell you a quick Kiss story, though. Okay,
go ahead.
So the one was at was at the Tweeter Center. I don't know what they call it now. But I did the Pan Mass Challenge. I did the 111-mile bike, and I'm first guy to the beer truck, drinking pretty heavily. And my wife says, "Hey, I can get tickets, lawn seats to Kiss." I'm like, "Oh my God, I love Kiss." And she goes, "Yeah, come on up." So I got driven up and jumped in the tub and get cleaned up, had a couple more beers. So I was feeling no pain is the moral of the story. And then I was a U.S. senator, and I had my blanket, my shorts, and we were going to go up in the lawn, and they had some trouble up there. But anyway, I gave my card to the will call. I said, "Hey, listen, if there's a chance to see the guys, I'd love to say hello." And 5 minutes later, Doc called and he goes, "They love you. You got to come backstage." I go backstage, and went on Doc's bus, had a couple more beers, and basically they said, "Hey, Gene and Paul are over there. They're getting their makeup done," and Gene comes out and he's in full makeup and he stands up and he goes, stands up, hands in his hips. He goes, Scott Brown, you're a handsome and powerful man. I'm feeling pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
And I look right at him without even missing a beat. I go, Gene Simmons, only in America can a guy with high heels, tights, and makeup make hundreds of millions of dollars. And he goes, awesome. You're right. And he starts laughing and he starts talking to me. Gail's there with me. And he said, hey, you got to come to our concert in Maine tomorrow night. I said, listen, I'm going to Israel. He says, Israel, listen, I was born in Haifa. My mom was in a concentration camp. He says, I was with Condi Rice the other day, and we were talking about nuclear proliferation in the Middle East and how, Israel's our biggest ally in that region. And then someone said, hey, Gene. And he turned around. I go to my wife. I go, honey, are you shitting me? Am I talking to Gene Simmons about nuclear proliferation in the Middle East? Semi-shit-faced, actually in full makeup, really? So that's only one of the minor stories. So anyway, they get better from there.
That was my fifth question, sir.
Yeah,
was our fifth question is favorite Kiss memory. I'm assuming that's got to probably be up there.
I can't tell you the other ones, but yes, that's one of the first.
Tommy, do you want to start with some of your questions for this ambassador?
Yeah. So one of the things we're thinking of, so you're down in that area. So I know, like, it's funny because our show, we're proud to be part of what's known around here as the Pantheon Podcast Network. So we talk to the guys that run that network, and we talk about stats and downloads and stuff like that. And they always and they brought up to us one time how surprised they were that we are a huge hit in that part of the country, New Zealand, Australia, that whole area. And we told them that you may not know this, but Kiss fans know that they're huge down in that part of the country, or that part of the world. So my question is, when they canceled their New Zealand / Australian tour at part of the end of the road last November due to Paul Stanley's illness, at the time, were you aware that they were coming to that area? Like, could you sense the disappointment? Because a lot of our fans and listeners were tremendously bummed out that leg of the tour was canceled, and it doesn't look like they're going to be going back, if they even go back on tour at all.
Well, I think they'll go back on tour, but yes, of course I knew. They did an interview in LA, and the interviewer who was from New Zealand, and they said, guys, you guys are coming to New Zealand. Who's your favorite Kiwi? And then Eric chirps up and goes, oh, that's easy. That's Ambassador Scott Brown. He's got my drum kit in his house. He's one of our biggest fans in New Zealand. And so, so I was ready to go to the show. I was ready to, kind of get up on stage with him and hang with him. And listen, it was very disappointing. There's a tremendous amount of disappointment. But listen, Paul is he's over. Was he 65 at least, I think now, 67? And they tour all over the place. Quite frankly, I'm shocked. A lot of those people don't get, sick more often, with the handshaking and the glad handling. So, it was disappointing.
Yeah, a lot of our, like I said, a lot of our fans and listeners were devastated, and it's just funny how that part of the world has always been a diehard for Kiss fans, especially that early 1980-81 time frame when the band was kind of in disarray in the States. They were huge down there. Well,
you have actually Ace Frehley came with Alice Cooper, got to get up on stage with Alice and backstage with both of them, and there's some incredible music here. I mean, they had AC/DC. The last concert I saw before COVID was Queen with Adam Lambert, and it was one of the top
nice
6 or 7 concerts I've ever seen. It was that good.
Excellent.
Yeah, you also missed a really top-notch concert of Kiss playing to the Sharks, not too far from you. Do you hear about that one? When they played in Australia, and they played to Great White Sharks supposedly, and I think it got canceled because they did show up. They
did do that. Yep.
Right?
Without Paul, it was one of the very rare times they played as a trio. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So I don't see that's something as like those other like classic rock bands would do. Let's travel to Australia and play to some Great White Sharks. I don't think it translates, right? I know that I mentioned to Tom, so I'm a fan of yours. I follow you on your Facebook stuff, and you always put interesting stuff. A couple months back, you got into this thing where you were putting up a lot of your hair metal bands, and Tommy wouldn't believe it. I'm like, he's fans of like Faster Pussycat. He's getting like National Intelligence, and he likes Warrant.
So do we. So do we. So do we.
So the thing that we were talking about, joking, me and Tom were like, when you went into the Senate, do you find that were you a rare bird? Were you someone that likes this music, and everyone else is like, "What are you talking about? Put on some Mozart," or right. Kiss and hair bands, not on the radar over there.
Well, first of all, thank you for being one of the people that looked at that. It was fun to go through them. I have a pretty historic collection. Yeah. And Warrant is one of my favorite bands. Actually, I played with them twice, and it was incredible. Played Cherry Pie, at the Hampton Beach Casino. And
my favorite venue.
Eric Turner is a great guy. We feature his wines. He has a winery, and we feature 6 of his wines at our official dinners. As a matter of fact, we're featuring one tonight called I Saw Red. It's a nice Merlot, and because we have an official dinner. And the hair bands are good, but don't forget now. The Music Modernization Act that the president signed, that was initiated when I was a U.S. Senator by Orrin Hatch and actually the senator from Tennessee, Lamar Alexander. They are both members of ASCAP. I think Lamar has a Grammy from country type of genre. But I have found, regardless, unless you're a total jerk, regardless of your political affiliations, your station in life, music is always the great equalizer. If you can't talk about music, I mean, if you have to argue about music, then you forget about it. I mean, there's not one thing that we can't talk about in this room. And I have Buddy Guy's guitar right there. I mean, I have English. Well, not many English because whatever. But I do have the Babies because I love those guys. Grew up with them, and I do have Deep Purple. Those I think and then the Scorpions, kind of Germanish, So
Yep. So one of the things that Zeus and I always talk about on the show, we interact with our listeners on social media about it too, and there's a lot of those Facebook groups that we refer to as like toxic Facebook groups. But a big topic that comes up amongst Kiss fans, and Zeus and I are admitted fans of every era of Kiss. We have our favorite eras of Kiss, but we love them all. Where do you stand on Tommy Thayer as the Spaceman, as Eric Singer as the Catman, at the new era of Kiss versus the originals? Does that bother you? Do you care, or are you just a fan of all of their music and a fan of the band?
Well, first of all, if you know Tommy's story, I mean, you probably do.
Of course.
He was basically their gopher. He was cleaning their gutters.
Right.
And,
right.
He was also a musician. He had his own group.
Black and Blue.
Thank you. Yes. Yep. And so he was a talented guy, but just to think that somebody like that was able to morph into, obviously, listen, Ace is Ace, but Ace is, I've read Ace's biography, and I would encourage people to do it. It's pretty out there. He's lucky he's alive.
Absolutely.
And basically the other guys don't drink or smoke or anything, and so it was a distraction, and there had to have been a breakup. I was encouraged when they were getting back together, and then they kind of fell apart again. So I'm hoping they can mend fences at some point. Ace and what's his face?
Peter.
Gene. Yeah.
Oh, Gene. Yeah,
Gene. And then you have obviously Peter, and then you got Eric and the drummers. Listen, bottom line is they carry on the tradition amazingly well. I mean, you go to see them now and you go to see them then. They're all accomplished. They're all talented. They're all believe in the Kiss. I thought maybe what happened in the rock and roll induction, with not letting Ace be part of it, it was a little, there was just so many different political things happening between the band. It's that's the part I hate about some bands, where they make it big and then they say, well, we're going to go and do our solo stuff. Well, these guys did it.
Yep.
And then they came back together, which I thought was cool. The Beatles, did it after and then kind of got together a little bit, but I hate it when bands start to do really, really well and then they kind of fall apart because they get too happy, And
we've all Zeus and I have also said too that Eric and Tommy right now are pretty much the reason why the band is still together and touring and together. They're so reliable. They're straight guys. They're good guys. They're unbelievable musicians, and it allows Paul and Gene to not have to worry about putting up with the shit that they had to put up with Peter and Ace, and it allows the band to flourish, and hopefully they can continue to make new music. Who knows what's happening?
Well, you may not know this, but Tommy's dad is a one-star general out of Oregon.
Yeah.
And I remember right when I was running for the Senate in New Hampshire, they called up and said, "Hey, you want to come out and play with us in a charity event?" I'm like,
Nice.
but I couldn't.
You
Obviously.
couldn't, right?
No, but you're right. I mean, Eric, for example, he had no reason to call me up and say, "Hey, you want this for your display?" But that's the type of people they are.
Yep.
That's
Zeus.
so nice. I always love hearing stories about that. I know Kiss got really, I think from was it Rock the Nation tour, Tom? They really started doing some stuff for the military vets and stuff. And they've been doing that all along, raising money.
They do a ton of work with philanthropic work for vets. I remember back in 2013, 14, maybe even 15, they donated a portion of the ticket sales to veterans groups.
Yeah, they were doing that. We saw them in Worcester doing that stuff, right?
That was the Freedom to Rock tour, and they ended each show by bringing up a local, whether it was military or law enforcement, first responder. They'd bring them up and they'd present the proceeds from the ticket sales. That was their big tour that they did for that, which was terrific. That was 2016. Yep.
Now, did you ever we know that you play music. You have a band, correct?
Well, listen, the only reason I play music, and once again, I can thank, obviously Zeus, because you didn't vote for me the second time. So thank you.
Because you lost by one vote, sir.
Because when I lost, I actually learned how to play the guitar. It was on my bucket list. And the first 5 songs I learned, because I did the Music Modernization Act, Rick Nielsen came in my office when they were advocating for that. The first 5 songs I learned were Cheap Trick. Well, 4 months later, I was playing at the Hampton Beach Casino live on stage, doing Surrender with Cheap Trick. Wow. And ever since then, because I nailed it, number one, but more importantly, they got 2,000 or 3,000 YouTube hits versus a couple hundred. Then Warrant called. Then I've been up. My last gig with Cheap Trick was in 6 songs I did in Sydney at the Enmore Theatre, sold out show about 9 months ago, before COVID, obviously. So Warrant, Firehouse, Cheap Trick, Kiss, Alice Cooper. We get to get up with these guys and jam. It's great. Yeah, we do have a band, and we're surprisingly pretty good.
That's great. So does that mean when the ambassadorship is over and you come back and you're in Mass, we're going to know about your next event and we can come see you play?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got some great, obviously Massachusetts, as you know, has great, I mean, there's a group called Mass, which I really love. There's so many, I mean, you have Duke and the Drivers, you have the Stompers, you get obviously, by the way, I have a display for the Fools too.
Oh, the Fools. Yep.
Mike Gerard. I mean, we have some, the Cars and Aerosmith and even Donna Summer. Who else? You got the
Jay Giles.
Yeah, Jay Giles of Wahlburgers.
Billy Squire.
Yep. Billy Squire. Yep.
Squire. Yeah. Yep. Charlie Farron. I mean, there's so many great old groups there. So yeah, I love music. Like I'll be coming home tonight after work and play. I play like 2 hours. I'll sit in front and watch the TV, watch a movie, and I'll just do my chords and up and down like for hours, And it's so fun. So I play rhythm and I sing and I do a little lead. But for example, in my set we've got "Should I Stay or Should I Go" by Clash. I sing that one. The Kinks, "You Really Got Me Now." Bryan Adams, "Summer of '69," "You Belong to Me." Happy Together, Come and Get It, the Partridge Family, I Think I Love You, so we got some pretty wide variety of songs.
I like your taste. You do have a variety of you have some 60s, some 70s. You don't find too many people that can say that and then go, yeah, let's just put on Girl School from Brittany Fox in the middle of this. Right?
I can play that very well. And
excellent.
Tommy Paris is a good friend, man, and he, when they were in Boston, they said, "You want to play?" And something happened. I think I got too drunk or whatever. But anyway, so here's a good one for you. So you're right. It's good. And the other night, I think about 2 months ago, I was playing really loudly because I have a really big house here, fortunately. And my wife said, "You know what, honey? I'm going to tell you this honestly. You're getting really, 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 really good." And I'm like, "Thank you, honey. That's really good." I said, "So what's the but?" "No, there's no buts. You're getting really good. It's amazing." He says, "Will you do me a favor, though, and play something from this century?"
Oh, God.
I'm like, and I said, "Yeah, sure." "Like who?"
Yeah, exactly.
Lord, Brittany Fox. I mean, who? Tell me who.
Right.
Name one. Who?
I'll name you one. Ayla Brown.
Yeah, I play her songs regularly. She actually asked me to play with her band when I get home in about 10 days up at Hampton Beach. So I'm psyched to do that.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
That'll be nice, huh?
My favorite venue. Love that place. The Casino Ballroom. Excellent venue. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not that. That place gets a little sloppy at times. I like what you called the Tweeter Center. What's it called now? It was used to be Great Woods.
Xfinity Center. Yeah.
Xfinity Center.
Yeah. Listen, Zeus, they don't have any white wine spritzers there. If that's what you're asking, sorry.
No. I'm a Bud Light person. That's it. Yeah. You got the wrong impression of me then. But all
the bands you love, Ambassador. I've seen pretty much all of them there at the ballroom. Tesla, Rat, Dawkins, Cinderella, Firehouse. Seen them all there at that venue, and it's one of my favorites. Zeus, go ahead. I cut you off.
Listen, I can play 3 or 4 or 5 songs from every one of those bands, and I it's funny when I play them. Like Ayla said, I said to Ayla yesterday, I said, honey, I'd really like to, you jump up on stage with me. Let me, sing one of my songs. And I sent her a bunch. She goes, I sent her the Partridge Family one, right? And she goes, that song stinks. I said, well, I hope you write a stinky song like that because it basically sold like 34 million records.
Yep. That's great, though. But you got to have that variety of tastes. Like, there's too many people that like, well, I can't like a pop song if I like Metallica, or I can't like a 60s song if I'm into hip hop. Of course you can. Yep. Good music. Paul Stanley says it all the time. There's good music and bad music. That's it.
Here's a quick one. So the only reason I really wanted to learn how to play, like in the bucket list, is because when I was like 13, 14, my buddies and I, we were posers. We said we had a band, and we didn't. And one night we were at this beautiful young girl's house, which we all were madly in love with, and a big storm comes through, and electricity's going out. No one can go anywhere. And the sad thing is her brother actually had a band, and the equipment was right there. And they're like, oh, you guys play. And we did every excuse. And they finally said, you guys are liars. And we're like, oh, no. And I still remember that. So now when anyone ever comes in and says, can you really play? I'm like, yeah, what do you want to play? By Living on a Prayer? What? Let's go. A little Dream On, a little Mama Ken. Come on. Yeah, let's go. Bang, bang, bang.
That's so cool. But you're giving me hope that when did you pick up the guitar and start playing?
6 years ago, almost this week. Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
I have a guitar sitting there. I got to learn.
Now, see, all your liberal friends.
But here, listen. What did I say to Tom? What did I say to you before this started? I said to him, I said, you know what he's going to do? He's going to eventually come back, and if he's smart, he's going to run for governor of Massachusetts someday, and he would win.
Maybe.
Republicans win in Massachusetts. You are a very, very likable guy. You may have lost to Elizabeth Warren because she had a nice, big national name and stuff, and she had the Democratic machine behind her, and my vote. But you know what? You are a person that is greatly admired. You appeal to both sides, and you're practical, and you're a moderate Republican, which can win in the state. So I hope that someday we get to have you as either a governor or a senator again someday, and maybe something else.
Well, I know you're not drinking, so it's too early to drink. So thank you. That was great.
I vote for Republicans, sir. Every once in a while, when there's a good one like you, I will vote for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's done it. He's done it in the past. I've seen it.
Gracie thinks she's on a date here.
Well, we don't want to take up more of your time. We greatly appreciate it. It's an honor to have you, sir. You've given us some class on this KISS podcast show. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. We wish you well. We wish you to stay safe, you and your family. And we hope we can connect with you and catch you at a concert coming up.
I'll be back in 10 days for a month, and then I come back, and then I wrap it up the end of December here. But listen, send me the link, and I'll get it over to Gene and the guys. And when's it going to be on? When are you going to have this on?
Sir, I have to edit this. This will be on
Saturday.
It's on Saturday at midnight.
Okay, good. Well, get me the link, and I'll get it to the guys. All right, hey.
Thank you.
Rock on, guys.
Ambassador, thank you. Be safe and take care. Thank you again.
Thank you again, sir. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
And we're back. What do you think?
It it was so much more than I expected. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, we've seen Scott Brown, talk and interact. We've met, we watched the video with Gene, so we know he's excited about music and rock and Kiss, but he doesn't know us. And for him to interact as if we know each other was just so great to see. And it was just rock fans and Kiss fans just getting together and talking about a band and a genre of music that we love. And like I said, I wish we could have had more than 30 minutes. We know he's an unbelievably busy man. I mean, he's an ambassador, for God's sakes, talking to us. But it was just very exciting, and telling us about his Kiss things and general rock things that he's been involved with, bands that he's friends with, getting up on stage with every band you can think of. The story about him, at the Kiss show. Just awesome stuff. Just fun stuff.
Nuclear proliferation with Gene Simmons.
That was hilarious. The way he phrased that was just so funny. He's like, "Am I really talking to Gene Simmons right now about nuclear proliferation in the Middle East?"
You know what I found is it's always great to meet somebody and be even more impressed.
Exactly.
When me and you hung up, we've talked to some great people on this show.
Absolutely.
We met some people. We were both, when we hung up with the ambassador, we were both like, did you expect it to be like this? He was like, no, we were both like, we thought it would be like an interview and get this guy's perspective and all that stuff. I didn't expect him to be so friggin' charming.
And for him to just riff on all these personal stories that with Kiss and with other bands. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
And, it's funny. And he kind of told us, I think it was a little bit off camera. I'm not sure, but he's like, over here, you might not know it, but President Trump isn't too popular. He was like, yep. But, they come here, they see me, they see this room, they talk to me. They find that I'm reasonable and they can do business with me. They can do business with me. They can do business with the Trump administration, which is doing business with the United States of America.
And that's the job of an ambassador.
If you can't do business with Ambassador Scott Brown, that's on you.
Exactly.
He's got that like Bill Clinton charm where you'll walk into the room thinking you don't like this person. And you walk out going, God damn it, I like this guy. But I already liked you, Senator. So if you're hearing this, we already liked you.
Of course.
But we are so impressed. I'm still telling people about how impressed I was, about how personal, how funny, a great storyteller, how smart. He is extremely intelligent.
Oh, God.
Quick on his feet, knowledgeable, friendly, funny, and best of all, he's one of us.
Huge
Kiss fan.
Huge Kiss geek. Had all that stuff in that room. It was just, we hope you guys enjoyed it. We know it was like a short interview, but just getting some stories from somebody who, other people out there looking at the ambassador, United States ambassador, and then kind of a peek behind the curtain, like, hey, this is a real guy. This guy likes to rock out. He likes Kiss. He likes Warren. He likes, Brittany Fox. He likes Cinderella. He's seen these bands in concert. He's been on stage with them, and he's just a guy. And then, when the time is right, he goes to work and does his job. But, when he's hanging out, he's a Kiss fan.
And wasn't it like, I think we talked about the fact that it's like, all right, but you're in the Senate, or people like Brittany Fox, turn that off, put on some Mozart.
I said, I think I said it off the air. I don't think we were so rushed for information during the recording. I wanted to say to him, like, when you were in the Senate, we were like, hey, Chuck Schumer, I got this new Slaughter album. What do you think of it? Or, hey, Mitch McConnell, what's your favorite Dawkins album?
Or he blasts the girls' school and he gets like the women's caucus going around going nuts on it. I mean, come on. That stuff is hilarious.
Nancy Pelosi, turn that up.
But it was so refreshing.
That was great
to find somebody like that. And, he's still a young guy, and I think he's got a future in politics as well. And I think he's going to really excel. And best of all, he is a Kiss fan.
Absolutely.
At least as far as our podcast goes. And why shouldn't it be? They're still the best band in the world. So I can't say enough about having him on. We'd love to have him on again. And we'll probably go catch him next time he's up. He goes up to, where is it there? Your favorite concert hall?
The Casino Ballroom up right on Hampton Beach, where we've seen a ton of shows. He loves going up there, and so do I. So his ambassadorship, I think it ends at the end of 2020. Yeah. So, I think he'll be coming back to the States to get back to business here in America. So, I'm sure he'll stay back in Massachusetts or in the New England area. So it'd be great to hook up with him again. Yeah,
absolutely. And if you ever catch any shows up there in the ballroom, watch for any of the local Rat or Trickster or somebody else in the area that comes up there and say, hey, who's that guy that just jumped on stage with them?
It's probably him.
Yeah, it could be, the U.S. Senator. So
that's right. Yep.
We can't thank him enough. It was a pleasure having him. And, we hope that we can connect with him again.
Absolutely. Great time. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, we know it was a short one, but we thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, Tom, usually after this, we go to questions. Do we have any questions today?
We got a question here. This actually could be an entire episode, but we'll kind of make it quick for question time here. Our good friend Zandon Black, who asks us, you can go back in time and make one decision for Kiss. What would it be?
One decision.
Yes. It's a pretty big decision.
And I really made some big decisions. I would say, off the top of my head, I would say if the four of them agreed when Bob Ezrin said to the band, hey, Dick Wagner's going to come in and do this solo. They all put their foot down and go, hey, the four members are in Kiss. The four members play on this album. If they stuck to that, I think a lot of the tension and a lot of the bullshit would have gone away.
Good one. Good one. Interesting.
And Peter can't play in the band. They can't have him. Peter, you're out. Eric Carr, you're in. That's it. There is no ghost guy. He comes in. Oh, hey, how did I sound? Best you've ever sounded. None of that shit.
Yep. Okay. For me, this was actually pretty easy. I'll preface it by saying I love the solo albums.
Yeah.
I own them all. I love them all. I know you guys do too. However, we all know that was the beginning of the end for the band. And even before that, we know that was kind of the beginning of the end for the band. However, maybe if they said, hey, the four of you go into your own safe space, write 8-10 songs like you think you're going to put a solo album. We're all going to come to the table. You're each going to pick 3 songs and make a 12-song album. There's going to be no argument. Ace, you pick the 3 you want. Gene, you take the 3 you want, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to make a 12-song album. That is going to replace the solo album release, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, the cat was out of the bag. The tension was still there. The drug and alcohol and substance abuse issues was still there. But I'm wondering if that was because we know Ace was like, fuck these guys. My album's kicking ass. I'm killing these guys. And then, I think that would have been a huge thing. I don't think you could change the course of history, obviously, but I think it would have been interesting to see if they avoided the solo album thing and went in a different direction and made a group album, a studio album. Yep. So it is interesting, Zandon. Great question. Again, that could be, I might have to save that because that could be an entire episode, but that's a good one for a quick answer. That was a good one. So thank you, Zandon.
So let's go with how people can find us.
Yeah. So our email, we always read your emails. We either respond to you directly or read them on the air, and that's shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. Shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We're all over the social medias there, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow us, interact, check us out, send us messages, give us feedback, comments, shows, topic suggestions, whatever. And then we're part of the Great Pantheon podcast group where you can listen and hear to all different kinds of rock, metal, rap, whatever you want podcasts. And you can find us everywhere. Apple Podcast, Spotify, all the big platforms. And we also put up an audio only of on YouTube. You do. So yeah, we're everywhere. So reach out and and let us know what you think and just interact and be part of the show.
You can also give us one of those 5-star child reviews on Podchaser and on Apple iTunes. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify. There are reviews for us there. And Facebook, even Facebook, give us a 5-star review. Those help us because if you give us a 5-star review there, it opens us up and gets onto more people's search engines. They find us, more audience participation. We love getting them. And then we obviously read them on the air when we do get them. You can always send us direct messages. We respond to those on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And then the email, of course, Tom mentioned, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We love reading those emails, I'm telling you. So other than that, we do have one other email, Tom, I wanted to read.
Yep.
And this is specific because this is from Stephen Wood, who's been catching up with previous episodes, and he likes to give us updates. So a lot of these are episodes previously done. And he just likes to jump in and talk about a lot of this stuff. So this one is Ep 64 and 66 feedback. Hope you guys are doing okay during the shitty circumstances we humans continue to find ourselves in. At least he described this as humans. Jesus.
Close.
If you allow me to gush for a moment, I just want to say how thankful I am that you helped me
reinvigorate.
Exactly. Reinvigorate my love for Kiss, especially for inspiring me to revisit Crazy Nights and Hot in the Shade. Silver Spoon, Little Caesar, King of Hearts were all throwaways for me previously. And I'll happily put my hand up now and say I was utterly wrong to think that way. Turn on the Night in My Way took on new lease of life as well. And I'll Fight the Hell to Hold You is a great song as too. It's a shame you guys can't recognize that fact. Buddy, I love you, but I can't recognize this spelling. What the fuck? I'm like sounding like an idiot trying to read this. But that's all right. And you're totally wrong. My Way, I'll Fight Hell to Hell You, those songs suck.
My Way is awesome.
He should be talking about some of those Gene songs that are classics, that we think are classics, that are very underrated.
Okay.
Thief in the Night, Good Girl Gone Bad, great songs. And as far as the non-makeup tournament rap, I was tickled to hear my name in the top 5. He was Steve DeWood.
That's right.
Having voted The Mighty Tears Are Falling as number 1. That made my night. Before we know it, we'll have another March Madness coming up tournament. And we'll have more people involved. Last year we had the great Bruce Kulick, Jericho. We've had Lisa Kulick. We had Kerry Stevens, Mitch LaFon. We had a bunch of it, and all our podcast friends. Hopefully we'll get the band involved. Maybe the senator. You never know.
Yep.
Right? I'm catching up on current episodes. I haven't quite got there, as you can tell, but I will soon be able to interact with you guys in the community on a real-time basis. Not that Jericho needs more smoke blown up his ass, but it was he who put you guys on the map for me. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you.
By posing your non-makeup tournament brackets. But did he get top 5? No. Well, I did, jabroni. I'm rambling a bit now. I guess that leaves me only one question to ask. Who the fuck is Sonny Pooney?
Yes. Great one. Thank you, Steven. That's awesome.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's go, Tom. At the end of every episode, I always say to you, famous last words.
Let me introduce you to pleasure. I will seduce you, my treasure. I know you'll ask me for more and more, but honey, don't you know just what you got in store? Oof.
Nice. So, my Kiss lyric. I got to prep for this one.
Oh boy.
Sometimes you say, you don't want my love today. But, oh, baby, I know what you're aiming at. And I know. I see everything that's in store for me. Well, baby, here's your big surprise.
Oh, That song is fucking fabulous.
What do I have?
X-Ray Eyes. Oh, what a great song.
Such an underrated tune.
Oh, it is. I love it. Yep, absolutely.
So, once again, I want to thank Ambassador Scott Brown. I want to thank you, Tom, and I want to thank the KISS Army.
Yes, big thanks to Ambassador Scott Brown for taking the time. Again, we hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you, Zeus, as always. Thank you, KISS Army. Stay safe and be good, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace out, girls.